Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are watching us live. This is Culturally Lit Africa. You are on your screens right now. You can see Mr. DJ Saki. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I am good, all the way from Elmina in
Mina number
Central
one out
Region,
there. Yes.
from Ahamka FM. And I am sitting in New York. And we're about to go live soon on the radio
We are,
99.5
we are
Ahamka FM.
already live. We are already live on the radio.
Oh, we are?
Yeah,
How
we
could you
are.
do this to me? Why?
We
Why?
are, we are already live on the radio.
Are you kidding me?
Uh-huh. You are now clearing your throat. You're already live on the radio.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Hello, everybody. This is Aleida Castillo. You are listening to Culturally Lit Africa. We're coming to you live via New York and the Central Region, Elmina. Hello, DJ Saki.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you? I'm not supposed to ask how are you doing because you are looking great.
Well, thank you. So are you.
You are welcome.
Your lighting is absolutely exceptional today. I see that you're putting in some work.
Yeah.
I kind of
You
like
told
that.
you told me to, so I'm trying. I'm doing my best.
Yes. So today we have a special guest who's coming on. He is his name is Frank Fraley. He's from New
Okay.
York. And he recently visited Ghana. It was his first time there. And he happened to stay at Culturally Lit House. And we want to hear not only how that experience was, although I'm not so sure I want to hear the live experience for the first time live, but we want to hear the good, the bad, and the
And the
ugly
ugly.
from
Yeah.
visiting Ghana. What do you think? You think it was all good? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. So I know that the first time you come to Ghana, the first thing for me, the most shocking thing was I thought Ghana was a little bit more advanced in outside of Accra.
Come again.
That was surprising to me. Like I knew I was going to go back in time a little bit. But I didn't realize how far I was going back. So it took some adjustment, right? And then I loved it. And then I kept coming back. So I've been going back for 5 years now, or 6 years. So I'm curious to find out from Frank if he is going to come back, and especially what he thought about Cape Coast and Elmina. And I believe your partner met him from your foundation.
Yeah.
And
they did.
They did meet. They went to a school. He was visiting schools out there. And we're trying. He's Frank Fraley's trying to log on now. He's having an issue, but we're waiting for him. Hang on one second.
Okay.
So tell me.
So let me ask you this question. Before your first time you came to Africa, before you came to Ghana, what are some of the perception you had about Africa? What are some of the stuff you heard about Africa before you came to Ghana?
So
let me say negative things you heard about Ghana, but when you came, maybe it wasn't true.
Right. So I didn't hear. I ended up meeting quite a few people that were from Ghana before I actually went there, and I understood. I had a preschool in the U.S., so I had parents from Nigeria and I had parents from Ghana. So I understood that there was a feud there. That my parents that were from Ghana said, no, Ghana is better. And the Nigerian parents say, no, Nigeria is better. And it said, no. I said, well, it doesn't matter. Both of you are here in my place. So why are you not back over there? No, you have to come to Ghana. You have to come to Ghana. So I came to Ghana, and I expected it to be not as developed. Like, for example, Accra is highly developed.
Okay.
And so I didn't expect that. I thought that I was going to sort of go back. I'm originally from Dominican Republic. And so I'm used to third world country living. And so I was surprised that Accra was so advanced. And so, and then I was surprised that Elmina was so underdeveloped.
Yeah,
so
it's like most of the diaspora, what they see on the internet is totally different from when you come down.
Right.
Yes.
So I didn't see. I mean, I saw the disparities, I saw the poverty, and I saw the large gap between the rich and the poor. I expected there to be a gap, but I think that the gap is wider than I expected it. But I also enjoyed the peaceful, the relaxed atmosphere, and also Ghanaians were very, very friendly. So that was my experience. But today we're going to talk to Mr. Frank Fraley, who just joined us. Hello there, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you.
All right. So if you can speak closer to your mic or put up your volume. DJ Saki, can we hear him okay?
Yeah. Hello.
I turned up my volume. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's a bit lower.
It's a bit far.
Yeah.
So I don't know if,
how about now?
Yes, okay, it's good now.
It's a little bit better, yeah. So
or I could just kill the headphones and just go straight. Whatever.
Yeah, I think that might work better. So Frank Fraley he has an extensive resume that he can tell you more about himself, but I know I introduced him as the former president of our Chamber of Commerce here, but he has, of course, other great skills. But we want to speak to him because he came for the first time to Ghana and also visited Elmina and the central region. So from Accra all the way to the central region. And we want to hear, without me hearing any details before, what his experience. So first, Frank, thank you for coming on the show. And tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do. You're mute. Unmute yourself. Let me try to see if I can do that for you. You got to do it. You got to do it at the bottom. So Frank is there. You go.
Unmuted.
Yes. You sound great now. Okay.
Unmuted and no headphones.
And it sounds wonderful. Okay. Tell the listeners about yourself.
I'm a native of Brooklyn, New York. My name is Frank Fraley, Frank Timothy Fraley. Some people know me as Timmy from my church in Brooklyn. Others know me in business as Frank. But I'm a citizen of the world, especially now, having been to Africa, the motherland and the mother of my culture. And it was an awesome experience and one that has changed my life. So There's so much that has come before, but what I believe is coming after my experience in Africa is bigger than anything I've ever done before. And I've done a handful of things before.
Wow. That says a lot.
It does. It informed me culturally. It informed me as a man and as a husband, but it also informed me as a citizen of the world. So cross cultural religion, and I am a Christian. It connected me culturally to everything African, which is, I think, the most amazing experience anyone could ever have. And I recommend it to everyone in the world, but I recommend it particularly to African Americans in America. Those in the diaspora, you need to go to your home so that when you return to JFK, as I did, and relatives called me and texted me and said, I'm so happy that you made it and you made it back home. I corrected them and I said, I'm coming from home to New York.
Wow.
I was born in New York, but I have been home. I was greeted by an African priest, an African rabbi. I was blessed in the Atlantic Ocean. They asked all of the gods of the sea and of the lagoon and of the land to bless me and to protect me. I'm like so immersed right now. You don't even understand. And like many things that happen to you and then they wear off. This doesn't wear off.
Right. I think, and one of the reasons why it doesn't wear off, it is because it's sort of, we don't realize how long we have been living. And I say we, those who are in the diaspora, living in an identity crisis, so to speak. And so, it's like, it's finding yourself again, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
identity crisis is an awesome way to put it in perspective.
So then when you go back and then you find yourself, then it's hard to kind of almost explain to people what that journey is, because all the time you're pretty confident you know yourself.
And they haven't lived that experience yet. Therefore, they can't really understand exactly what you were saying, and they revert back to the identity crisis perspective, and it's even harder for you to even have those communications.
And so, yes, and I find it interesting or unexpected that you would say that it changed your life and that everything that comes ahead is way bigger than what has been in the past. And as you say, you're a pastor, you have been CFO, you have been in the music industry, you have been in the regular corporate world, you have run the gamut in terms of understanding the US from different perspectives, different cultural backgrounds, right?
Yeah.
Different ethnicities, right?
Right.
So what made it different?
Okay, I'll tell you as quickly as I can put it in a nutshell. When I went to visit Cape Coast, what they call a castle, what I call a dungeon.
Yes.
All right, a slave dungeon. I went to visit a slave dungeon. The castle and the cathedral aspects of those places.
Yes.
From the cannons to the churches to the colonel's house are all non-existent for me because my people were in the dungeons.
Right.
So when I went to Cape Coast Dungeon, I was toured by the Honorable Kohen Halevi.
Yes, Rabbi Halevi. Yes.
Rabbi Halevi took me to Cape Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And what is normally a 45-minute tour turned into 2 hours with the rabbi, who is my friend and my brother.
Wow.
So he showed me in one of the slave captive dungeons. They're not even slave dungeons because we were not slaves then. We were we were just captured human beings.
Right.
So when he took me into one of the dungeons,
that
formerly housed African men, they excavated down to the brick floor.
Yes.
And then he took me into another slave dungeon.
Yes.
Which they had not excavated at all. And we were standing on 8 to 10 inches of my ancestors' DNA.
Wow. Wow.
Let me let that soak in. 8 to 10 inches of human African DNA,
Mm-hmm.
which has not been excavated. So anyone who travels to Cape Coast and goes to Elmina and goes through those places, you will stand on our ancestors.
Yes.
If that doesn't change your life, I don't understand your life.
Right.
But I know what it did to me.
I think
those were human beings in captivity who were now subject to the worst conditions of any human being in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And they left that mark there for us to remember them. And so I did.
And so you're standing on this. You're standing on the surface. We're having a little internet connection issue at the radio station. We're going to continue live as they can hear us via phone. So you're standing. You're standing on the surface, and you're standing on the DNA of your ancestors, of our ancestors.
Yeah.
And when you're listening to the story, what struck me as something that I just couldn't get past was that Rabbi will say there was people upstairs, right?
In church.
In church.
In church.
Right.
It's horrible.
What did that do? What did that do for you, being that you are in church now?
Well, I'm not in the church they're in.
No.
They're in a church called hell. There has to be. When someone is pretending to worship what we call Yahweh, God.
Yes.
And they're standing on top of the suffering of live human beings. There's no way you can really call that worship.
And if you are looking at, sorry, hang on. We got video connection now. You can hear us. So there's no way you can call it worship, but I'm wondering. So this is what I'm from Dominican Republic, right? And we grew up, being fed and praising a white Jesus and Catholicism, and never told this history whatsoever, right? There goes the video in and out. Never told this history whatsoever.
Right.
And when I went through the tour, the first thing that I heard was Dominican Republic was the first stop. And then I said to myself, wait a minute, what? And it said, no, Santo Domingo, they have the capital of Dominican Republic, and you see the map, right? And I'm going, okay, wait a minute, what? So nowhere ever in the school system in Dominican Republic, you were ever taught that. In fact, we don't recognize or identify with this history. However, that was one of the first stops. So the only difference between African Americans in terms of where we came from is just that one stop.
And Jamaicans.
And
Bajans.
Right.
And Curacao and Martinique and the Virgin Islands. We're really all one people.
Yes.
And fortunately, I've had the last 10 years of my winters in Dominican Republic.
Oh.
And I've been teaching a jewelry class there, as I plan to do in Ghana.
Get out!
In the future. Yeah, I've been teaching in a place called Altos de Chavon.
Oh, Altos de Jabón. I'm from Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic. Wow.
Yeah, I'm adopted in La Romana.
Wow.
So
that's amazing. I did not know that.
So yes, and then the national stone of Dominican Republic is Larimar.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, it is. So he's about to show you the stone that is.
a basket of Larimar.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
I see it. I see
right,
it.
right here. So I've been to Barona. I've gone to the mine. I've selected my own stones. I've had them cut, and and then I've had to inform so many of my Dominican brothers that Atlantic Ocean is the same Atlantic Ocean.
Yes.
You point in, a direction toward the United States, and that's where I was born. And you point in the direction toward Africa, and that's where we have all come from.
Right.
So that's an education for Dominicans.
Yes.
But it's also I believe unnecessarily an education for Ghanaians.
Yes.
There were Ghanaians who worked at the Elmina slave dungeon site and work at the Cape Coast dungeon site who understand the history of what happened there.
Yes.
But generally, Ghanaians don't know the history of what happened to me.
Right.
They don't know the history. They don't know why I'm coming home.
Right.
And that's the bigger story. I think that's the bigger story, that Ghanaians need to not only welcome us home for our tourism dollars, but they need to welcome us home as brothers and sisters who were estranged from one another because of the slave trade.
I think they're beginning to know, but more importantly, I think that the more they know and the more they learn that story, the less they would feel like I have to get out of here and go to the US and understand why the US is coming back, right?
Just the opposite for me.
So listen, so now, I mean, my gosh, the whole experience in Dominican Republic versus Ghana is a whole nother show, DJ Saki. But I want to know, if you had made this trip at a different time in your life, say 20 years ago, would you think that it would have had the same effect? And if it wouldn't have the same effect, then what happened in your life now that you could say that you could really embrace the history?
In 2017, well, actually, the answer to your question is no, it wouldn't have had the same effect because it would have been some kind of African tour or African vacation. This wasn't a vacation. This was a pilgrimage. And in 2017, my daughter gave me an ancestry DNA, which gave me 35% Nigerian, 17% Ghanaian, 7% Senegalese, some Togo, and some Benin. All over that West African region is where I'm from. That's where DNA is from. So I had a pull since then. And since I knew your awesome husband and your awesome father-in-law, I said the best place for me to go and explore this thing initially would be Ghana, because you know people there. Right. So that's what made it a no-brainer for me. And I could capture the history and the culture that is sort of lost on many African Americans. Yes. So that was the reason for going there, and the big pull was that ancestry DNA. Now I did one step further, which hasn't come back to me yet, but I've done African ancestry. And once I receive that, and it snatches me up and takes me to Nigeria, then that's going to maybe be the next pilgrimage.
Yeah, Nigeria. We were just talking about that, Nigeria versus Ghana. There's the feud of what place is better, and I think it's all great. I think it's all amazing, and I think that one thing that I wouldn't say surprised, but that I think it's underestimated by people here is how smart Ghanaians, Nigerians, how smart people are.
Africans are.
Yes, how smart.
Yeah.
And I would say that again, is how smart, right? Because if you had more access to some of the things that we had access to, then you have the ability to express that intelligence. But they express it every day in their own ways, in their own space.
Absolutely.
And it's incredible how smart.
Absolutely.
Right?
I agree.
So I want to, DJ, you can jump in if you have any questions. I know we're live on the radio. You're listening to Culturally Lit Africa on a Humka 99.5 FM, right, coming from, what is that road, DJ Saki? What is that road?
E-Train number 1 Avenue.
Well, there you go. See? And soon on Ocean One TV, or I think we're actually also on Facebook and YouTube, Culturally Lit Travel. Thank you, Frank, for tuning in and joining us today.
My pleasure.
I want to talk about your experience arriving. What was the first thing you did when you arrived in Accra?
I took a PCR COVID test.
That's true.
In the airport.
Yes.
Right? You're familiar with this.
Yes.
I took a PCR COVID test in the airport once I got off the plane. And as I'm moving through customs and immigration to get into the country, I was impressed by the fact that that is required.
Why is that?
Because once you get your luggage, you have to wait for the results of your PCR COVID test.
Yes.
And I say PCR because they did it in minutes. And we do it here in the United States in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I was impressed with the fact that they could do a PCR in minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And of the travelers that I was with my buddy. His came out first. I was worried because mine didn't come out for a while. But ultimately, it came out negative. And that's how I got into the country ultimately. And like most places where you travel internationally, you need to do another one 3 days before you go to an airport. And I did that on the way home. The funny thing was when I got to JFK, nobody asked me for anything.
Right.
You just walk back into America as though everybody's healthy.
So you felt as though you didn't really need to take the test to leave.
No, I didn't feel like that. I felt like it was harder to get into Ghana than it was to get into the United States. And they call my homeland a third world country. Very offensive to me.
Yeah. It's
always been offensive to me, but it's more offensive when your first world will settle for anything. But my third world has standards. I'll settle for the standards.
So that's an interesting perspective because as this COVID test was instituted, you have had many comments in social media, the news and alike, that Ghana is doing this COVID testing and is charging people too much and robbing people and unnecessarily having steps that, that perhaps if they were to take those, that they wouldn't charge so much, that they wouldn't require going in and going out, and the negative side of aspect of that. And that coming to the U.S. Yes,
I learned they reduced the cost, the price.
Yeah, they reduced the price. It was from $150 to $100. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't mind paying the $150.
Yeah.
I didn't mind paying it at all.
DJ Saki, we're going to edit this portion of the broadcast.
So how much did you pay?
I paid $150. I paid $150.
You paid $150.
I paid $150 at Delta in JFK, and I took the test in Accra in the airport.
Wow.
Okay.
And it came out negative, and so be it.
Yes. Okay.
I'd rather be in a country of healthy people.
Of course.
Even if I'm paying a few bucks for the test. Okay?
Understood.
If I'm traveling with my whole family, of 6, yeah, it would sting me a little bit. But going by myself, $150, no problem.
Well,
okay, so
I guess that was the challenge for some Ghanaians that had medical emergency that had to travel back. Yeah, it would sting a little bit. There should be some waivers there.
I get you. I understand.
So,
hey, well, listen, in New York State, I don't know how many tests I've taken, and some of them have hit our insurance in a minor way. The others that are given by the state, so I get your point, have all been free of charge.
Yes.
You know, including another one I took this morning, just 10 days or 12 days after I've been home in the United States. This is my second one.
Your second one. Okay.
You know, and it's free.
It's free.
So I understand.
Right.
I do understand the point.
That's my point. And even if we are going to go ahead and pay the 150, then maybe the locals should be being tested regularly for free, not 300 Ghana cedis. So moving on. Now you're in Accra, and now you're heading to your hotel. The experience in Accra, what was that like?
The experience in Accra was awesome. It was busy and hot and new and all brand new.
Mm-hmm. Did you experience some traffic?
We experienced a little traffic, not much traffic.
Really?
No, coming from the airport to the African Region Hotel, which was a very nice hotel. I recommend it for tourists coming from the diaspora as your first stop.
First time.
That's a great place. The Golden Tulip is also a great place. So I recommend those two because you can still spend your money with Africans as opposed to coming in and staying at the Holiday Inn,
right?
The Marriott. There, you're not going to spend your money with Africans. They're going to be employed at the hotel, but they're not going to get the revenue from what you spend.
From the business, yes.
That's right. So in Accra, it was because it was Easter weekend. There was outdoor market right outside the mall, walking distance from our hotel, with awesome products.
Yes.
Including some of the things I'm wearing right now.
Yes.
So,
great for shopping.
Yes, great for shopping. And then great for dining. The living room, one of my favorite restaurants now.
Yes.
Right there in East Legon. That was beautiful. So my experience in Accra was really beautiful.
First meal.
First meal, living room. With fish and vegetables and rice. I'm pretty simple. I eat rice and vegetables and fish. So
you didn't take any of the local dishes.
The local
dishes? The banku. Yeah. You didn't try anything Ghanaian.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I tried Ghanaian. I had jollof rice. That was number one. I eat a lot of vegetables, and then whatever the thing they make with the peas, they make something with peas. I forgot the name of the dish.
Something with peas.
Yeah, it's almost like a black eyed peas dish, but it's a little thicker, and it goes on top of the rice.
Does it look black?
It is called shito. It is called shito.
Shito. Right.
And it's made with beans, yes?
It's made by pepper.
No. It's a black
almost like a black-eyed pea.
Yeah. It's like a big sauce. It's all over the plate. I don't know. Nashon is on. He's saying red. I don't know what that means.
Red. Nashon is
red. Okay. Red is a bean stew. It's bean stew.
But the bean stew. But the beans stew, the red, I like it with the jollof rice and my vegetables and my fish. I'm mostly a fish and chicken eater. I don't eat a lot of meat.
Okay.
So some of the meat dishes that are traditionally Ghanaian, I stay away from because it's not my diet.
Okay. So do you drink?
And the plantains. Who said beans and plantain? Somebody
Selassie. That was your
Selassie, yes. Well, listen.
Beans and plantain, yeah. Someone wrote it over there.
Selassie was at every meal I had, so he knows what I ate.
Like Selassie's mentioning another one.
Awesome. It was
tilapia is the fish.
Oh,
tilapia is the fish. Yes. Thank you, Selassie. Thank you. He's still helping me.
So that means you tested a lot of our local dishes. You did well.
Yeah,
you did well.
Listen, I ate locally every day.
Okay.
I had the blessed experience of 13 days of my life spending 90% of my money with Africans.
Yes.
Okay.
Make a copy of that statement and send it to everybody you know.
Okay.
13 days in a row in the hotels. I was at African-owned hotels. In the restaurant, I was eating African food served by Africans in an African restaurant that's owned by an African.
Yes.
You know, when Selassie was my driver, I was hiring an African local.
Yes.
You understand? When Essie was helping us in your house, it was an African local. When I was renting my Airbnb from 2 African-American brothers and sisters, I was in an African business. When I stayed the night at Mabel's table and I went to Mabel's table for dinner, I was buying food and staying in a bed that's owned by an African.
Yes.
I was in heaven.
Yes.
Heaven on earth.
So now here's a parallel question I have.
Yes.
When we are promoting to invest in Africans, to support Black businesses, right? Here and abroad, and especially in Africa. But what happens to us here in the US that it seems that as though is how should I say, so challenging to get for us to support each other in business here?
It's a loaded question, which will take.
It's a deeper conversation.
Yeah, it'll take a few more podcasts.
Right.
But the point is, we become so socialized to our environment, and we become so negative to our own businesses that we hurt ourselves in the process. These are the very people that could hire my sons and daughters, but I don't support them.
Right.
It's a very big conversation,
right,
about what we do in our communities and how we don't support one another.
And I think that I very seldom have met someone that doesn't like to travel. And so traveling to Ghana and having the experience, I think, can awaken that sort of, if you didn't have that in you before, where you really weren't thinking about it much.
Yeah.
As to where you place your money or where you invest in, or who you do business with. Perhaps making the trip and then coming back to the U.S., you come back with some sort of awakening, sort of.
Yeah.
That you say, wait a minute.
Yeah, much more so than my multiple trips to Dominican Republic.
Oh well, listen.
When I go to DR, I stay in Casa de Campo. I'm a guest of the university, so so that kind of thing. But I don't really think as much about where my money is going, other than the local people I hire.
Right.
I have some brothers who, when I'm going there, they know I'm coming, and they know they're gonna, whatever needs I have, on the golf course or driving me from airports to restaurants or whatever it is. I mean, locally around the community.
It's a different experience. It's a different experience.
They know they're going to get an opportunity from me. But going to Africa is totally different, because you don't feel as Black. You don't
say that again.
you don't feel as black in Africa as you do in America. America reminds you every day that you are a black man. When you're in Africa and you are driving from Cape Coast to Accra or vice versa, and you're on the Accra road and the police have their checkpoints,
right?
You don't think about getting shot by a cop. You don't even think about it. You know that it's a road stop. It's basically a toll, and you give the cop a couple of dollars the same way we do in DR. When you're going long distance in DR, you get stopped by the militia guy.
So you also give the cop some dollars over there.
Of course, man. Of course. That's what it's all about. But it's an understanding. It's a cultural understanding. And here, it's the absence of cultural understanding. Here, when my sons drive their car or drive my car, it's no different.
It's worry. It's
no different than when the Shown sons and his brothers and nephews drive their cars. You worry.
Right.
You wonder if they're going to make it back. In Africa, you don't think about that at all. I mean, you got other things to think about. You got other issues over there. But the one thing you don't worry about is whether or not a cop's going to shoot somebody over a traffic stop or a misunderstanding. So it's a mixed bag.
I have heard that part where people say, you know what? I don't have to be worried about my life and or losing my life on a traffic stop. I rather worry about whether I have enough change.
Right.
Go ahead. Let me ask you this question. I want to ask you this question before the program ends. Where are some of the places you visited when you came to Ghana?
I recommend the tour that I was on initially for everybody. Okay. I went to Accra. I stayed in Accra for 2 or 3 days. I saw national monuments. I went to the stadium. I was able to see most of the larger sites. I went to the W.E.B. Du Bois House. That was very very important to me. So I saw East Legon. I saw nice restaurants. I saw our Wakanda.
Yes.
Wakanda.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw how rich some of us are able to live. I also saw how poor some of us are living. Which is go ahead.
I think I saw a picture. You visited one village, Echo Simpson, where Echo teaches. Yeah.
Yes.
There's a project going on. I think it's a library, and you went there to support.
But that was beyond my Accra experience. So I was starting at Accra. Then and that's why I said the way I did it is really the way people need to do it. Go on Accra for a couple of days on the front, see all of the national monuments, and then go and find the culture, which is, I believe, Cape Coast and Elmina.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So once you do that, that's when I met Echo. That's when I went to the school. That's when I saw these children, and we had this conversation with these children, and we jumped right in. When we found out about the library project, we're already raising money for the library.
And you saw Gregory too. Gregory McNeely.
That's right. Gregory was there.
I'm working with him. We have the same NGO together. We run the same NGO together.
Awesome.
They're the foundation. They're both together founders of the foundation. Yeah. So
thumbs up.
It's a small world.
It's a small world. It's a small world. So I had a great time in Cape Coast.
Yeah.
And historically and culturally, I understood what went on from my own eyes, as opposed to history books or stories. And then on the tail end, we came back for another day in Accra before the following day for our flight, so that we wouldn't have to rush back. It worked out perfect.
Is there something that you wish you would have known before you went to Ghana that you didn't know until you got there? Like, could you have been prepared in a different way to go there, or everything was just right?
Oh, one major thing that I will advise all of my diasporans before they go: be aware of the currency issues.
Mm-hmm.
There are bills, $100 bills, $50 bills, $20 bills that we carry in our wallets every day that are no good in Ghana at all.
So you have to have the most recent currency, dollars, newer dollars
if you're going to exchange dollars, and just check with your bank if you're going to use the ATM.
That's a good advice.
That is something I did not know before getting there. And when someone told me that one of my $100 bills was worth less than another one, I'm telling you, almost all the Brooklyn in me came out. You know,
it's like, wait, how can this possibly be?
And that was day one. When Selassie told me I was going to get 5.4 Ghana cedis for this
$100,
and 5.7 Ghana cedis for another 100.
Yeah.
I said, who in the world do you think you're talking to? but ultimately, I got it. There's a lot of counterfeiting.
Yes.
And then you have to protect your own investment.
Right.
So,
Yes.
You thought, there's discrimination against dollar bills.
That's definitely something that needs to be in the orientation before anybody goes.
Yes. Okay. And then now you go into Cape Coast, you stay at the Culturally Lit House, and I know Essie is listening, so she staying up late just so that she could hear you.
Hello, Essie.
Yeah. So if you haven't
10:47 and it's 10:47 in Ghana right now.
Yes.
Frank, if you have anything negative to say about Essie, say it. I want to listen. I want to hear. Don't defend her. Don't defend Essie.
Actually, it would be very difficult. First of all,
I know.
Her little boy, I met him because I saw him on the Friday after he was out of school before we were about to leave on Saturday.
Yes.
And I nicknamed him Hard Worker.
Wow. Cuckoo is hard worker.
Yeah. So he's my little hard worker, and she was awesome to us the entire week. And I can't even reach for something negative.
Try a possible best, please. Try. I beg you. No, don't shame me. Try.
I can't do it. It goes this far. I did the when I was at Cape Coast, and the priest found out I was there with the rabbi. They took me down to the water, and they gave me a special blessing.
Yeah.
And they poured the schnapps on my head. They did all of that in the ocean, right in the ocean floor. And Essie listened to the narration on my phone of what the priest was saying. And I have a recording
of the translation
of the translation.
Wow!
So not only can I not say anything bad about Essie, I can only say good things. I'm sorry.
She went above and beyond. She became your translator.
So she became a translator too.
Yes.
She became was a baby sister.
Yeah.
The day I walked into the Culturally Lit House, and I said, I know Nashon, he's my good friend. She says, "Oh, that's my father." And so,
and you're like, "What?"
First of all, I said, "What?" And
you were confused. I know. You thought it was.
I was
biologically.
I was only confused for a minute because whether biological or sociological,
Yes.
it still becomes my niece.
Yes.
So the housekeeper for the week was my niece.
Okay.
Look at that.
And it becomes a family member is doing a favor for a family member.
Yes.
It's bigger than anything you could ever ask for.
That's amazing.
This trip, I'm telling you, man, was it just set me on fire.
It's life-changing.
Yeah. Even from the moment that she showed us which room you could have, and then it was all awesome from the beginning.
Wow.
And then you had Selassie. Selassie reminds me of Kevin Hart.
That's a whole show. That's a whole show. I'll see you next week.
Okay, so let me ask you this one quick. You've had a great experience in Ghana when you came.
Yes.
Do you want to do something here? Maybe a project or anything to support in Ghana?
Well, I'm already doing it. We are already raising. I've already donated money to the library, personal money. I've already raised money for the library, both on my Instagram and my Facebook and my personal friends. So we're putting some money in the coffers for the library already. That's happening. The other thing I did, which I know I got to go soon, but the Asanska School of Design and Technology in Accra is very much like a very small FIT. I teach at FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology in New York. They have a jewelry department. So I connected with the founder and the owner of the Asanska School, and if all goes well, I'll be teaching jewelry in Ghana for the month of January 2022.
Wow. That's amazing.
Wow.
And how did you make that connection? How did that come about?
I just Google everything around me.
Yeah. So what advice would you then give?
I visited 3 schools while I was there.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. And I have pictures with school children on their way home from school who I just had a conversation with.
Yes.
So my whole point for Ghanaians is education.
Absolutely. So what advice would you give then to someone coming in, an African American or Black family person from the diaspora coming to Ghana to connect with different institutions and or businesses of their interest? Is that Google is the best way, or did you feel more comfortable doing that because of you had your own driver with you at all times?
Right.
So I want to emphasize on that, just because sometimes people take for granted the level of comfort and safety that brings. That you're not just getting into a different cab or a different driver or a different person all the time to explore these different areas.
I think. All right. Let me just blow Selassie up for a minute. I think the recommendation. I'm gonna be saying the Shone's name for the rest of my life. I think the recommendation from the Shone of Selassie was probably more important than the African Region Hotel.
Yes.
Or the Culturally Lit House. That guy was a guide.
Yes.
He was security. And he was financial transparency.
Yes.
He was honest.
Yes.
And I know we go all around the world and everybody's not honest.
Yeah.
But you gave me the most honest person available.
Yes.
And that went so far because everywhere we went, we knew we were going in the right direction with the right person and we were not getting ripped off. And that's a very big part of this.
It's very big. So Selassie is also, he was very helpful to us as well. And, when we had to go take the COVID test and really stays with you. So we're not really recommending people that we don't already use. And, he's become part of the Culturally Lit team.
Yeah, no
and
doubt.
can't wait to drive the next person and the next person and the next person, and is always ready, available, and willing. And I say that to say, because so many people have a terrible experience trying to find that right driver or the right taxi. And it's not to say that you have to call Selassie. It's just that you got to find the right person to stay with you.
Well, I think, Alita, you have just identified another business. You're a business person.
Yes.
So you've identified another business that would go a long way, not just in Ghana.
Yes.
I don't plan to go to Senegal without a Senegalese brother. And I have one, a very good brother of mine. So I do plan to go there at some point, but I will be with Papa. I will be with him.
Yes.
How I'm going to get around.
Right.
And I do not plan to go to Nigeria until we identify
you have someone,
who's going to be that person for me.
Right.
You do not want to make trips and be like the total
without the trusted local.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know that people do that, and maybe they feel like they had a good time. I'm just not. Like I said, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm a little more cautious about it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Frank, it's been very informative. I think that we have the radio show is heard over the central region, in Cape Coast, in Omina, I believe Rabbi and all, Mabel's Table, they're all listening. So we want to
shout out to Mabel's Table.
Yes. I think it's the best food on the ocean.
Set me on fire on many occasions. I'm telling you that now. I walked in there with a T-shirt that fit. I walked out and I needed a sweatshirt.
From all that eating.
Yes.
It is the best food by the ocean, bar none.
It is.
So, DJ Saki, you have any questions or any questions from any callers, listeners?
Okay, I don't know. We have.
Well, we didn't open up the lines. To do that.
We have only I think 2 or 3 minutes. Let me see if we can activate the phone line quickly. Okay, so if in case you want to contribute to the show, you can call now on 0243 137 753. 0243 137 753 or 020 203 8937. This is 99.5 KFM, and you are listening to Culturally Late Africa Radio Show. We can go ahead whilst we wait for the callers.
Sure. So we want to, you hope to come back in January of 2021 to teach a jewelry class.
Yes.
And then what do you hope to happen beyond that? Is it something that you want to just come do regularly once a year, or?
The thing that all right, let me just say this. I realize that there are a lot of African American women, sororities, and women's groups. The women a little more organized than the brothers. They travel together. They do whatever they do. I've seen videos on YouTube and different things like that, right? So I'm encouraging the Black male diasporans to go to Ghana because, like women, all right, I'm not going to discard the women in this particular scenario. Many of the brothers are interested in various entrepreneurial businesses. And what I do believe that our brothers are missing out on are entrepreneurial opportunities in Ghana.
Can I pick a caller?
Pick a caller.
Yes,
hello,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Caller?
I think we lost the person.
Okay. You're right. I think they're missing a lot of opportunity, but also I think that there's much education in Ghana to Ghanaians about the African American experience. We also need a lot of education in the diaspora and in the U.S. about not just thinking beyond the 4 walls of your community.
Yeah.
In terms of business.
Yes.
And that becomes, it's like the fear. If you're not raised thinking like that all the time, by the time that you become an adult, it's like, wait a minute, I'm going to go to a whole new country to do business.
Well,
but It's possible.
Might be the best thing you ever done.
Absolutely.
Can you read the messages on the down?
Yes, I can read the messages on. This is Kristen. She is from Chappaqua, New York. This was such a fun conversation. I mean, the story is like just wrapping around my mind. So glad I watched. Glad you had such an amazing time, Mr. Fraley. I loved hearing about it. We have a lot to learn from Ghana if you felt more yourself there and not just your skin color.
Skin color.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Awesome. We have Reginald Shell, who says, as a former Black business owner, I learned that Black Americans have been taught that we are inferior and therefore our products are also inferior and therefore we would not shop Black. And that was to the conversation earlier as to why we hesitate to support each other. But that is changing. That is changing. We are done. We are closing out. Thank you so much. We will have you again at some point soon. Maybe when we have Rabbi that's coming on, you can come on and join us. Maybe you should come to Ghana and start a church because they do very well in Cape Coast.
It's not beyond the pale. I was there and I worshiped on Easter.
Yes.
And it was a moving experience.
Yes.
And this is another thing I recommend before we go. I recommend every African American spend one Easter of your life in Ghana.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
I call it resurrection in the homeland.
Ooh. I that sounds like a whole new tour.
You got another business, huh?
I think I do. Well, thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next Wednesday. This is Culturally Lit Africa at Humka 99.5 FM. Ciao, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, DJ.